I learned how to upstroke probably because of Boss Tones and Fishbone, you know, the fast chucking and stuff like that. I remember being in my room and not being able, not figuring out how to do it and hearing it. And the only way I could figure out how to do it was without a pick. And I would go fast. And then, as I got better, I was able to do it. And then I heard Sublime, and like Sublime, the way Brad would do it is he would like flick his wrist. And so I started doing the flicking wrist hit. And then, but yeah, like all those bands that came out of the Untouchables, the Skeletons, um, you know, obviously Specials, Madness is early stuff.
Rob Ruckus,
Nick Collins,
Kate Clover,
Keith Semple,
Isaiah Mitchell,
Billy Harvey,
Tim Howard. Check it out, Almost Famous Magazine.
Hey everyone, welcome back to The Hang, brought to you by Almost Famous Magazine. Thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Scott Saldinger. We're the place you come to hang with artists and go deep into their stories from origins to today, well beyond just the music. If you're new to the channel, thank you for joining us. Please subscribe, share. If you've been with us before and you're back for more, if you haven't shared this with your friends, I have no idea what you're waiting for. Also, if you prefer to take your podcast on the go with you, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more. I'm going to introduce this amazing act to you, and then we have a very special guest joining them that I'm super stoked, who I have a very particular question for a little later on. But we're here to talk about MadTab. They've been grinding through the Orange County punk underground since 2006, blending melodic punk, ska, reggae, and rocksteady roots into the kind of fast, sharp, scene-built sound that feels earned, not manufactured. These guys are incredible. With us today also, because he's their special guest, not mine, they are on Fishbone's co-founder Norwood Fisher's new InnaNuttshell Reekordingz for their new single Awake. This is the band's story today. Their long trip of road trip of long lineup changes. I'm getting tongue-tied. DIY shows and creative resets that have finally landed with an urgency and chemistry. And since 2006, they are now in full mode for you. We're going to hang with them, learn their story, learn about the latest releases, and get to my burning question for Norwood. But guys, Dave, Graham, and Norwood, welcome to The Hang.
Thank you, Scott.
Yes.
Thank you. I wanna start where we usually begin. You guys started this back in 2006. You have a close relationship, Graham and Dave. How did your relationships with music start, and how has that impacted you getting to where you are today on Norwood's record label?
I've been playing guitar since middle school, and the first styles of music that I ever got into outside of what my dad introduced me to, which was like the Beach Boys, was ska, punk, psychobilly, and then reggae later on. And then I kind of went backwards as I got older and got into like 80s hardcore in my early 20s. And then, now I'm really big into like the 77 stuff, and, went through a garage phase and stuff like that. And kind of just learned, had a little bit of lessons, and just always wanted to do it. I was horrible at school. And I loved, spending time with my friends. And so what I did at an early age was kind of just say like, okay, you're the drummer, you're the bass player, you're the this. And then we would like find instruments and make it happen. And they would probably realize that like, the bass player is better at drums and switch and stuff like that. And I just love doing it, always been writing, always been, loving to play live since I was like in 8th grade, I think it was. And it ended up being like one of my absolute favorite things to do. So I just kept doing it.
Yeah. So who pushed who? Did you push Dave, or did Dave push you? Who energized the other?
I think so. Graham we were like getting in a lot of trouble when we were younger and stuff, and then Graham was grounded for like 6 months, but for whatever reason I could come over, and so he would just Actually, I don't even know if I was supposed to. I would go around the house, like climb through the window, and then we would kind of like jam and stuff. But yeah, like I got really interested in it because I think he was just real spazzy, and like I loved the whole punk rock thing, and um, yeah. And then after like a while, you know, I had been writing lyrics for as long as I can remember. I remember like being in sixth grade and stuff, just kind of not paying attention, and then writing lyrics, and you know, them being like, "Are you listening? Like, what are you working on?" Like taking it and stuff. And then one day, Graham found like a notebook of lyrics in my car, and he was like, "Why'd you never say anything?" I'm like, "I don't know." And then we started jamming, and here we are.
Well, so when was that? Because you guys started Mad Tab what in about 2006, right?
Yeah,
How'd
I've
that
known
come
Dave.
together?
I've known Dave since middle school. And that situation probably happened in high school, like, you know, maybe around 12th grade or something, maybe right after high school. I can't remember. Yeah, maybe it was right after high school. Um, and I moved to Arizona for recording art school, which I dropped out of, and I also caught a case. So then I had to fly back every couple of weeks to fight my case. And when I would come back, I'll be back for the weekend, and we'd all get together and jam. And our original, drummer was just a neighbor of mine, and also our bass player at the time, who was just a friend, who actually was like a metal guitar player, but he also was into rap, so he would like rap and then play bass. I don't know. So we started out just like having fun and doing that and getting together. And like around that time was when I realized that Dave had all these lyrics. I mean like a thick envelope of them, and they were typed out. They weren't even written. So I was like, this guy sat in front of a computer and like typed everything out. I don't think I remember seeing a single handwritten thing. And I can like write a song in 2 seconds. So I'm just sitting there jamming some stuff, doing some turnarounds and some chorusy stuff. And he's just like, freestyling to it. And Dave and Teddy, our original bass player, used to like battle, like, he used to rap, like a freestyle rap all the time. So like Dave could just freestyle and come up with stuff. And as he's freestyling, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's cool. Or we'd like this, or I would come in with like a hook or whatever. And, but I mean, it started out very like random. Like one song would start like, punk, and then it would have like a ska chorus, and then it would have like a reggae breakdown, and then like a hip hop bridge, and then like a psychedelic outro. Like it was just, we were just having fun and didn't really think anything of it. And then over the years, I think my personal songwriting style just became more like, okay, this song's going to be like this genre, and this song's going to be this genre. Just, I don't know. I think after like recording stuff and listening back to it, like it was really funny to listen to it all, like just a random eclectic array of genres on one song, but it wasn't digestible. And I think I wanted it to not be so funny, and wanted to write something that's a little bit more digestible, like not even for people, but just for me. So, our next couple records after that are a little bit more, honed in. Our last record, and then the one coming out now, is definitely more like, this is, it's more digestible, I think. And it's funner to play, makes more sense.
Well, I mean, finding all those lyrics, it makes you guys sound like a modern day punk Difford and Tilbrook, the guys from Squeeze, right? One with the lyrics and one with the writing. So we know how they've had a long, illustrious career and have done really well. So maybe you guys are onto something. With the evolution of your sound and the last album, this upcoming album, Norwood, what was it that attracted these guys to you to put them on your label?
Well, one, like they kind of like a complete package, so it made it easy. Like, they the songwriting, the production, that's theirs. You know, they and really, they didn't. I wasn't scouting them, and they weren't asking me about my label. They didn't even know. They they've asked my opinion of the songs and the production, which so I was blown away, and you know, and so I was like in the space of being, you know, like it's an honor to have them to be to launch this and have it be my first release. You know, it's because it's killer, and yeah, so it's kind of organic.
It sounds like a kind of a happy accident coming together, is what it sounds like. What do you foresee in the progressions from where they were to where they are now to where you're gonna take them?
Well, you know what? It's you know, like right now, it launched the single "Awake" launched. We're experiencing growth together, you know, and and you know, over the next few months as each single releases, really the main thing is to keep the nose to the grindstone and just keep building and 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 making people more and more aware, you know, and building them into to a place where they could do meaningful touring, connecting to festivals, you know, and just really connect to the kids that don't know that they would love it already, you know.
Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask this question, Graham. You know, you mentioned going back, your early influences were punk and ska out of the '80s. You know, there are a couple of notable ska punk type of bands coming out of the '80s. You know, you had the Specials, you had Madness, and then this band Fishbone that I don't know if you guys have ever heard of. They were pretty amazing in and of themselves. Any impact by those bands on you guys as you were growing your musicianship?
Yeah, absolutely. I learned how to upstroke probably because of Boss Tones and Fishbone. You know, the fast chucking and stuff like that. I remember being in my room and not being able, not figuring out how to do it and hearing it. And the only way I could figure out how to do it was without a pick. And I would go fast. And then, as I got better, I was able to do it. And then I heard Sublime, and like Sublime, the way Brad would do it is he would like flick his wrist. And so I started doing the flicking wrist hit. And then, but yeah, like all those bands that came out of the Untouchables, the Skeletons, obviously Specials, Madness is early stuff. Yeah, I love it all, and then that got me into the older stuff like Byron Lee and all that trad ska stuff. Like I got really into Bob Marley, and like way later on realized that like his early stuff was like this Scatolites, 3-piece little singer guy like setup. Wasn't like the Bob Marley that like I grew up to know, which is like this full band. And really the Bob Marley that I grew up to know wasn't even like the Wailers. It was like other people, because at that point they already broke up, and then everyone was just like hired on. So, but anyways, yeah, huge influence of that. I remember one summer, I think my oldest brother or one of my older brothers left for college, and he left his like CD wallet, right? Back when there were CD wallets. And I opened it, and there was like Unwritten Law and like one of their first records, and Sublime's Secondhand Smoke, which I actually didn't even like when I first heard it. and Big Blunts, like this reggae compilation with like Ika Mouse and Yellow Man and a bunch of people like that, which I totally loved. Um, and then like Corn and a bunch of other stuff. But there was like some punk in there and some reggae in there that I totally loved, and like it opened me up to that world. I wanted to learn how to play it right, you know, go see shows, watch how they played it, because I realized like upstroking reggae is wrong, right? And so I would like watch these guys do it. I'm like, okay, and they would mute and all this stuff, and so I wanted to do it the right way. Um, the '90s fast punk thing was really big, and there was a lot of little bands popping all over the place that were playing at like churches and stuff, and so I would go to those shows all the time and watch them, and when I was really young, and was really inspired by that. Yeah, and I don't know. I remember I went to a summer camp one time, and there was like these older kids brought all their equipment, and they like played like NOFX and Strung Out, and like they could play all this stuff, and I was like blown away. I'd never even heard this stuff before, and that's like the summer that like really turned me. I was like a skater kid that like listened to whatever was on the radio to like a skate punk like within a summer. I just identified with that uh that vibration, and I was just and like Dave was saying, I was such a hyper fuck that like I didn't know what to do with myself. I really didn't. I was climbing off the walls. I was breaking into houses just for fun. I was doing a lot of like weird stuff just because I had so much energy and didn't know what to do with it. And when I discovered punk rock and ska, like I had somewhere to put it, really.
I think that's a great story. I mean, it's definitely a great match for sure. I was out, I try not to over research anything, but I was out watching the video for Alive, and then I saw an Instagram post. I understand this could have come from maybe the ska influence, but from the punk that you just mentioned, the decision to be a punk band with a keyboard. How did that all come about, and what were you thinking was missing from traditional punk that you wanted to put a keyboard on it?
Like a few years ago, quite a while ago, I started writing more, and I started kind of writing more reggae stuff, and like Dave was sort of left with like almost nothing to do, and he started dabbling in keyboards, and we thought it'd be cool to like add that, and then he just really gravitated towards it, got way better, and then we did like the reggae rocksteady ska thing for a few years, and so it made sense to have it on everything. But then when we decided to go back to the punk stuff, Dave was way better at keys and synthesizers and all this stuff. And like, bands like Turnstile came out with their weird record with all their weird synth stuff. And, us watching movies and writing little scripts and stuff like that. So we got into the whole cinematic stuff, and we just compiled it and thought like, okay, like I have these punk songs, like how do we add synthesizer and keyboards to it? We listened to like Swingin' Utters and Blink 182 and like the Screamers and the Stranglers and like all these bands that would use keys, and some of them would be like really keyboard heavy, like the Mummies, and then some would be like really in the background and like under the radar, kind of like what Blink did on their records. If you like hear it, you can hear like the strings and stuff like that on like the second half of the last chorus kind of thing. And so as like a production and a producer kind of mindset, I was like, okay, we can really like use this and do it. And then we like kind of had the songs, and then Dave came up with like, like the like we come up with the parts, and Dave would come up with the sounds and like how to play it, and like he would experiment with stuff, and just kind of come up with what we thought was the best and wasn't stepping on anything, and what helped it breathe. And like that song Awake, I think is a good example of, using the synthesizer, the organ on one song. Not all the songs have that, but like that one does. And it was cool to like put that one out, and because it kind of features everything. It features everyone singing. It features call and response, crowd vocals, harmonies, everything that we do, as a band. So
And no, I can really appreciate it. I mean, one of the things that we talk about a lot here on the hang is the fact that the things that get me excited about new music from people is when they're willing to take a risk, they're doing something different, and it's just not the same old, same old. And you guys have definitely broken some molds with what you're doing. For those of us who are watching who haven't heard of you before, right? I'm looking at your entire catalog, right? Of what your music catalog. Besides Alive, are there one or two songs that you feel are really amazing appetizers that people should try out? Because we live, for what it's worth, in an age of shuffling that will really be that appetizer to get them hooked into getting into the music. Where do you think they should start?
I think, you know, at least from this collection, When the Man Comes Around is a really good one. It's kind of like a nod to two-tone of sorts. And then all of them, really, like the 4 singles. Yeah. You know, that's kind of like all we're playing right now, too. There is some other older stuff that there's like snippets of, and within our newer stuff. But yeah, All Live is a good one. That one's pretty straightforward compared to some of the other ones. But When the Man Comes Around is just like a really good song. I feel like it's like a timeless one.
Yeah. Graham, how about you? What do you think?
I think if you hear the first 4 singles outside of Awake, it kind of gives you an idea of like what to expect, because there's ska and then there's punk, but there's not like a ska punk song, you know? I mean, obviously the ska has like the punk undertone and all that kind of stuff, which is what Two Tone was. And it's 2026, you know, way later on. And so, you know, it's just a combination of those influences or whatever. Awake, I think, is a really good example, like I said before, of like everybody being involved in the band. You know, like this, the drummer sings, the bass player sings, Dave, we both sing, you know, everyone's juggling plates, you know, and also moving around and stopping and starting and having their little parts and things like that. So I think those first 4 are great. Awake's great, you know, especially the videos killer. We did all that. We do everything ourselves, you know. We might hire like someone, obviously, because Dave can't like hold the camera and like film himself. So we'll call a friend and throw him $100 just to like to be there all day and, you know, chase us around with a camera or something like that. But really, like, we're directing it. We're coming up with the ideas. We're coming up with the spots. You know, we're editing it. Dave's editing it. We're, you know, picking everything the way we want it. You know, and so everything's DIY. You know, we're funding it. We're you know, putting it all together. And then like that's where Norwood came in. Like Norwood came in after we were pretty much done with the record. You know, we like when we showed him Awake, and I believe the video, I think the video wasn't all the way done yet. It was like just about done, but pretty much there. And that's when he was talking about this like label stuff and things like that. And then we were on the back end getting mixing and mastering done, you know, going back and editing and things like that.
It sounds to me, because you've brought it up a couple of times, that you guys are cinephiles, that you guys spend a fair amount of time watching films and studying the moving images. Is that true?
Yeah. Yeah. Dave and I love like like Wes Anderson, like his concept of, you know, balance and like center shots. Like that's really where, like, if you watch the Awake video, where like the idea of that stuff came from, or like where the columns are, like that shot. You know, we love I don't know, like Guy Ritchie, Tarantino. If you watch like the older stuff we did, which was like a little weird series that we had. By the way, you're talking about Agrolites. Jesse's on that series. If you go to our YouTube, there's like a little like 3-episode series where, you know, like that. It's kind of like acting with like music going on and stuff like that. super low budget, super like, B whatever. But it was fun to do it. And that was our first stab at it ever.
Yeah, that was like
You know,
way pre experience and gear and stuff to where we're at now. Like
yeah.
this video, we took a kind of the next video that's coming out. We took like a little bit different of approach. I wanted to not focus so much on just kind of like doing all of it, and then like being in a position where it's like, here, like you just like film the parts that I can't, or we're gonna set up a stationary one. And so we brought in this filmer, this guy Brandon Pettis. He's like really talented and creatively like on the same page as us. And we just finished it this weekend, which was a full production. And for me, it's really nice to be able to just like do my thing. And on that one, I'm not really I'm not in that video, so it was sort of like creative director, getting all like B-roll and behind the scenes stuff and everything, which was like pretty awesome and kind of like a nice break, And
Well,
just to not have the pressure of like the editing on top of everything else. I'm like, all right, cool. I like this.
Well, I'm wondering. I mean, given that that Norwood is himself a renowned movie actor, did you take any inspiration from that amazing film that I studied when I was in film school, Tapeheads, which Norwood?
Oh, yeah.
I just actually rewatched that lately, and I don't care what anyone thinks. That damn thing's a classic. And when you think about what
Cusack,
punk
right?
is all, you've got. Tim Robbins and John Cusack, and I mean, when you think about the punk ethos, and now you're working with Norwood, who was in that film. I love that film. What was Norwood? How I want to know the story. How did that happen for Fishbone to get in that movie?
You know what? It's incredible. I just ran into the director's younger brother this morning, but Bill Fishman is the director. So I was running in this circle with the Actors Gang, which is Tim Robbins' actors troupe in the 80s. And that was Tim Robbins, John Cusack, Jack Black, Jeremy Pivens, Don Cheadle. Like, they were all there and more. It was jam-packed with ultra talent. And I didn't know who anybody was. Tim Robbins and John Cusack was making movies, and I had not seen any of their movies. They was just the homies. And and I loved their plays because their plays were punk rock. And the director everybody was just friends. The director directed the Institutionalized video.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, I met my son's mother on that movie on the set of Institutionalized. Me and Kendall went and we're in that video. So Bill Fishman directed Institutionalized. So that's really actually, it all started out of Suicidal Tendencies video shoot. I had to talk myself around to the beginning.
Hey, Scott, I didn't know that.
But
I didn't know that at all.
man, like we was just running Hollywood with, and I was such a fan of the Actors Gang. And so when Bill Fishman asked, it was kind of a no-brainer because everybody was just friends.
Well, that was definitely. I mean, I've probably seen that film as many times as I watched Hollywood Shuffle. If you remember that one from back.
Yeah.
And that was an incredible time, and it, the fact that that movie in and of itself is really the punk ethos of just video making, and Dave and Graham are running around trying to figure out where to set the camera. I'm thinking, guys, I look, lean on Norwood. Maybe we can get some cameos in some of your upcoming videos and do like a homage to.
We have talking about that.
We have an idea for the next video or the last video before the release, where Norwood's going to be in it.
I got this.
I'll be there. I'll be there.
But
we're asking him right now.
I'll be there. No problem.
Not to put you on the spot or anything, Norwood, but
The only answer is I'll be there.
A weird brainwashing concept.
Well, now we put it out there in the ether. It's going to be on the internet. So, I mean, anyone who's a Norwood fan, if he doesn't step up, you don't want to disappoint the people, right?
Oh hell no! I'm showing up. I'll be there.
Excellent. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, that's. It's about time. Y'all asked. Shit, I was waiting.
So look, we're in the springtime. I'm super bummed because there's no punk rock bowling this year, and I could totally see you guys at punk rock bowling, right? Listening to music and seeing you perform. What are your road plans? I know that we're the hot topic right now is the blue. We're entering this blue dot era, and it's getting harder and harder to make a tour happen financially and support and stuff. But you gotta get out and playing these songs live. So what are your upcoming plans for that?
Right now we're focused on getting the videos, like all the media side of it pretty much handled. And while we're doing that, we're doing a couple shows a month or whatever, unless there's some good opportunity that pops up, then we'll take that. But that's like really been the focus, just getting all of the last minute stuff with the record finalized, just like buttoned up so that everything is ready to go, the package is there, and then it's kind of like full speed ahead or whatever.
Yeah. Now we mentioned before we started that I'm wearing my Double Down Saloon. What are you guys' history in Vegas and possibly having spent some time on the floor in the Double Down, either from excessive energy release and or excessive drinking?
Yeah, the Double Down's fun. The last time we were in Vegas, we did like a pop-up show near Punk Rock Bowling. What was it a place called? Evil Pie?
And the Griffin.
You played in Evil Pie? I love it. I talk about that place all the time. Every time I send people there, it's the greatest pizza in all of Las Vegas. Where would you play out in the back in the back area? Oh my God, love that place. Absolutely love that place.
I would do it again. Yeah. I mean, it was definitely very tight, but it was going off. It was cool.
It was cool. Yeah, the Griffin was a lot of fun. Yeah, a lot more people, I guess, heard about that one and showed up to that one, and that was a lot of fun.
I think there's footage of that too. There's this our friend Kim. She goes by Retro Rude Girl. She'll come to shows with these old school cameras, and you really can't edit anything. It's old VHS type of quality, and she's got some footage from that, and it's pretty awesome. I gotta find it. See if I can send it to you.
I'd love to see that. I would love to see that. Oh, send it to me. Put it on your YouTube channel. Look, for one, if no one's ever been to Evil Pie and you've got footage, you guys playing Evil Pie, they gotta learn about that place. So, and then seeing you guys in that back area they have would be amazing, for sure. One of the things that we do around here is we talk about our inspiration to work with other musicians, and I'm sure because he's becoming oblatold today for a number of things, getting Norwood maybe in a collaboration down the road may just very well be in your future. But guys, I'm curious if you had the chance to pick an artist that you could spend a day in a studio with to create with. whether you're writing lyrics, writing music, learning something from one another, who would it be and why? Norwood cannot be included, but Norwood, I'm going to come to you last because you've had a massive career and there's got to be someone you still would want to work with. But Dave, I'm going to come to you first.
That's kind of a hard one. I mean, I feel like being in the studio with Tim Armstrong, creatively, we would be very much like bouncing ideas back and forth, and that would be one. I think, maybe being in the studio with Fat Mike would be good too. I've even thought on the hip hop tip, because Graham's been like, you should start rapping again. It's been a while, and even when he was talking about Teddy, when in the early days, we made each other freestyle every single day for a year, and I'd be like, or one of us would be like, I'm not in the mood, and the other one would be like, fuck your mood, and we do it. And so on that tip, I've been listening to Get Dead and Co-Defendants and kind of some more hip hop lately, like Vic Menza and stuff like that. And so it might be cool to do something with Sam and Chesky. But I don't know, that the answer for that could go on and on and on. It's like Bad Nerves and
a couple things. If you get to Vegas, just spend the day at the Punk Rock Museum. You never know when Fat Mike might stroll through and you get a chance, right? I mean, right. You never know who's going to show up at the Punk Rock Museum. And then, I heard great things about that little tiny punk band that played the Super Bowl, Green Day. I think there's potential for them, so maybe they'd want to work with you too. I mean, they got a little work to do, but there's always room for improvement. Graham, how about you? If you could get in the studio with one,
we have an odd connection with them actually through our friend.
I think that Johnny P. Bucks from Swingin' Utters would be rad because Swingin' Utters will stop, but then you see Drug Lords of the Avenues and then Primitive Heads. He keeps, and he's also an artist, and he keeps writing. Fucking Darius, the guitar player, he's got solo projects, and he's obviously he's one of my favorite songwriters. He's an amazing songwriter. Chris Chaney from The Living End. If he could just teach me how to play guitar, but if that, I try to sing like him. I try to play like him. He's fucking amazing. There's specific songs if I could, collaborate with, Dave was saying, Tim Armstrong, and bring in, Jesse of the Agrolites, or bring in Roger Rivas, just to make sure certain, aspects of it are right. I got some trad ska stuff that, or some skinhead reggae stuff that I, would love their hand on. Jordan Burns, the original drummer of Strung Out, if that guy would come in. Bill Stevenson, from Descendants, he's a great producer, and a great engineer, from the Blasting Room, I believe it's called, in Colorado. That would be great. Obviously Norwood, that'd be awesome to work on some stuff with him. Cause Norwood's bass lines are fucking you bring him something and he's gonna put the funk in it, and you try to put a little bit of funk on a punk thing, and it'll change the whole song and make it better. That's what I liked about Freedom from Suicidal Tendencies. Is there's I forgot the bass player's name in that one, but that dude's just ripping, funk bass lines the whole time, and slap bass over thrash punk. And it made that whole record super unique. So
I mean, there might be a chance to get Norwood. If you're nice to him, you might just say yes. Be kind and courteous to him, and this kind of feels like, since he's got the label, if I kind of felt like the annual employee review there. So I think you scored a couple of points. He might be honored to work with you guys. Yeah. Norwood.
Right? No one
Yeah.
does that. It's Scream Out, right?
Scream Out's
Look,
one.
give him a tryout. Give him a tryout. See if he makes the grade.
Clear out!
Norwood, you had a great career behind you, but is there anyone that you feel that if you had a chance to work with these days and do something with, besides trying to earn a spot to work with the guys in Mad Tab, who would that person be and why?
You know what? The person that really comes to mind is Grace Jones. Like, I would love to play bass for Grace Jones. That would be one of the, because where she sits she sits in a wild place in music, man. And she pissed people off, and she made people dance, and she she had the ethic, and she's stylish, and the other person, like, just like, is epically influential. Two people epically influential on me is Michael Rose from Black Uhuru,
Mm-hmm.
and Iggy Pop. I've never met Iggy Pop. And if I could make music with Iggy Pop, that would just fucking I'd be over the moon.
So here's the charge we give to the people watching today. Let's just say you're Iggy Pop's dog walker, or maybe Grace's. You pick up her dry cleaning for her. I don't know. You got a cousin who drives her around. I don't know. Or if you know anybody in that small little up and coming punk band, Green Day, your charge is to go out and let's make some connections for these guys. I think this is absolutely fantastic, and what it shows me is, like, we can make dreams come true as long as we put it out there in the universe for one another.
We have like
guys,
a random connection there with there's a song that's a cover coming out on the record on our record by a band called Crazy in the Brains, who did a cover, and who knows, maybe there's one big single there with all four.
But wait 1 second.
In the universe.
You don't. Right, Jordan Burns.
Yeah.
He went to junior high school with all original Fishbone.
Really? He's not from Oxnard or from
No,
Santa
he
Cruz?
was. Jordan Burns is from Woodland Hills.
Oh, wow.
I think we got to make it happen. I mean, you know what, Norwood, I think this also might give you an opportunity to get some more artists on your label too.
Yeah, Jordan would come
this
down.
Could be opening doors.
Like, we could get him. I got his number. We can work that out.
All right. All right, guys. Before I forget, and before we wrap up and I forget, when is the album dropping? When's the full album dropping so people can get their hands on it? Because I'm going to put the links below because I want them to go out and buy this album. I know you're on Spotify, right? But I want them to go buy the album. When you see Mad Tab playing near you, go and purchase a ticket. Support the band. Buy merch. Support our artists, because this stuff doesn't happen by accident. You as a fan need to make it happen. So when's the album dropping?
Yeah, and we're
September.
we make the merch for you.
Yeah, September, middle of September.
Awesome.
But the next single comes out June 3rd, which is a song called Stockage.
Oh. Well, purchase the single, purchase the album. We got to support these guys. I'm excited that it was a slow burn, guys, up until a few years ago, and now I'm expecting a ton of output and really a wild success for you guys. The songs you guys have online, I love it.
The one thing about these guys, they are ahead of the game when it comes to songwriting. They're ready with the next release. They got music.
So Norwood, is this a bit of exclusive? The they're on the verge of not just this upcoming album, but the next one as well?
There's a little work to put in, but yeah, like as this record was coming up, as the just released, they're like, we got a bunch of songs and we're ready to record and get it, you know, like they're very creative, very proactively creative.
I'm looking forward to it. And guys, for the next album, we're going to do this again. All right, for sure. I'm going to put all the links in below so that people can get their hands on this stuff, because I'm loving it, the stuff I've heard, and I can't wait to hear more for sure. Norwood, you're welcome back as well. If you have other bands that you're signing, let's share the love and promote everybody. Let's get it out there, because together we're stronger as a community that supports one another in our endeavors. Plus, I can't wait for the video for the homage to Tapeheads. I'm just putting that thought in your head, guys. I'm just, maybe recreate the lounge scene or that whole Menudo thing at the end of the movie. I don't know. You guys can go wild with it. That is a great film.
Yeah.
So, well, look, guys, this has been a thrill to get to know you guys. I'm expecting a lot of success for you. As I mentioned earlier, just, doing something a little different outside the norm and gaining people's attention is half the battle, right? And you guys have got it. I really like what you're doing in the combination. So I'm sure everyone watching, go out and get this music, because you got to get your ears on it. It's gonna stick with you. It's very sticky music, to say the least. And if I can get out to where you guys are, or maybe you're playing Vegas and I can show in town, I'll be there for a show, and everyone else should be as well. So I appreciate you making time.
All right.
Vegas run.
And if you're in Dallas, there's always Deep Ellum. I mean, maybe there's an opportunity to get on the road. Would love to see you. Love to see you guys. And I'm a big supporter.
Is that where you are, Scott? You Dallas?
Yeah. I'm in
right.
Dallas. I was just in Deep Ellum with Buck from the Toasters a couple nights ago. Speaking of getting back in the classic ska days. So.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I love some Deep Ellum.
Big fan. As a matter of fact,
they played Party at Ground Zero, right?
No, they played Mon Toasters.
They play Mon Bob.
Yeah, the Toasters are just keep going, and they're still putting out a great shows as well. And I will say, it has been an honor, because Norwood, the one time you and I were actual in physical proximity, going back and talking about a lot of these bands we discussed, the Inland Invasion, and what was it, 2005, 2006? You were on with the bill with Madness and all those other bands, and that was the one time I got to see you guys live. So that was quite the day. I think who else was Jet was on going way back. Jet was on that bill as well. So a lot of other great bands. So,
okay, that was a day. That was a deep day.
That was a deep day. And you know what? At my level of longevity, the fact that I can still remember that is thrilling to me. It was like it was yesterday, but it was definitely great to see Fishbone live, and I'm going to see Mad Tab live one day here for sure. So, guys,
yes,
this has been thrilling to get to know you. We're going to do this again for sure. Maybe we can get some of those other artists on the same episode, and we'll just sit and hang. In the meantime, everybody, not only go out and support Mad Tab, but all of the musicians you love. They need it now more than ever. We've got to keep the energy going. We've got to keep the power behind the creation of music, and take time during the day to show yourself a little love and kindness. Share that with other people, because it feels amazing, and you get it back, and you live a better life. And we need to be supporting one another out there today and always. So, guys, this has been great. Thank you so much for joining me today. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you very much.